Female graduates now account for over 60% of all bachelor degrees in the United States, yet women in the workforce still make 77 cents for every dollar a man makes. Closing the wage gap between men and women's pay would bring about sexual equality because women would have a reason to stay in the workforce after having a child. In this presentation, I will offer an argument that disproves the legitimacy of the traditional family stigma that exists against the female employee. I will also explain the vicious cycle of women dropping out of the workforce caused by this stigma and why this cycle continues to advocate male dominance in all aspects of society. The ethical theory of Kantianism ensures happiness for all people. When corporations use people as a means of production and pay them according to their gender roles, they're not respecting their well-being of their employee. Understanding why women feel compelled to drop out of the workforce helps to clarify why the wage gap needs to be closed to ensure happiness for both sexes. The traditional understanding of fulfilling the American dream is that women aspire to start a family at some point in their lives because, as Somner says, quote, "The traditional arrangements have great moral weight and that common opinion is the primary source of moral truth," end quote. Somner also believes that, quote, "the basic institutions that women want and support are marriage and motherhood," end quote, because it will make them happy and feel fulfilled. This notion is what contemporary employers base their wage reasoning on because, as Somner concludes, marriage and motherhood are widespread ideas of a woman's happiness. However, a woman's economic dependence depends on her husband as long as she is oppressed by the workforce. A man's default dominance is also caused by the pressure to provide because of this oppression, in turn forcing him to be dominant. So, same-sex pay would provide happiness for both men and women. The vicious cycle of women dropping out of the workforce that exists today creates an unending stigma for the female employee. Because of the idea of the traditional family, employers are less willing to invest their time and money into a partner who will statistically drop out of the workforce. As a result, a woman's pay is docked according to the preconceived idea of how a woman's life would traditionally play out. After graduation, the 24-year-old woman makes 92% of what a man does. Between the ages of 26 and 34, her prime time of childbearing, this wage gap increases by 14% because traditionally, more women are more likely to take maternity leaves at this time, causing their company to lose money. By the age of 35, she's only making 78% of what her counterpart does because of the believed extensive sick days she must take to tend to her child again, causing the company to lose money. This, in turn, inevitably causes the woman to resign from her career and focus on motherhood because she feels discouraged that she's not making as much as her male colleagues. Even though she may have the same education and qualifications as they do, the average woman does not deem juggling work along with motherhood worth it if her salary is not a maximum of what she can make. If the woman is not a mother, she's respected less in the eyes of men who are her equals because she makes less money than they do. This woman is forced to suffer under the hands of the stigma placed upon her because other female employees' tendencies to drop out of the workforce. Further, women are waiting longer to have children now, or not having them at all. Somner fails to recognize that notable women in the workforce do not feel a void from not being a mother or a wife. Why is a 34-year-old woman, 10 years into her career, paid less than a man who is just as far along just because it's predicted that she will be pregnant? This wage gap forces the man to become the sole breadwinner of a household, and the woman is left to tend to the children. This financial control gives the man the power in both the relationship and the family structure. Even if he does not desire the power, it is placed upon him by society because of his sex. For sexual equality to function and protect both sexes, there needs to be androgyny on all spectrums of structure in society. Not all men want to be breadwinners, and not all women want to be mothers, and not all households are composed of a heterosexual couple, or even couples at all. It may even take 3 incomes to keep a household running. If women are given the same wage earning opportunities as a man, then men who do not want to be breadwinners would have the freedom to stay at home as a dad, and women who wanted to be breadwinners wouldn't have to be a stay-at-home mom. Also, a lesbian household that had one person working would be as financially secure as a heterosexual household with only the family working. Closing the wage gap is the best way to dismantle the age-old view of a traditional family to create sex equality, because it would break the vicious cycle of women dropping out of the workforce. If our society bases wealth and power according to how much money someone has, then every person in our society should have a fair chance to be powerful.